Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Council President Lyda.
Here.
Council Pro-Tem Posey. Councilmember Swiney.
Here.
Councilmember Driver. Here. Councilmember Murphy. Councilmember Middlebrooks.
Here.
Councilmember McClinton.
Here. The quorum present, we will proceed with invocation. If everyone will please stand for the invocation to be delivered by our clerk and remain standing for the pledge of allegiance to be led by Councilor Driver.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you today giving you praise, and we thank you for all that you have done for our nation. I thank you for the independence that we have, for those that have fought for our freedom and continue to fight for our freedom. We thank you for our nation and for your protection around us. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Cato, we'll turn the podium over to you. I know you have a proclamation to deliver.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Before I call our folks up for this proclamation, I want to just mention a few things. A lot of great things happening in the city of Hoover. We talk about the road to Omaha with SEC champion, NCAA baseball. Truly, it goes through Hoover, no doubt. And if you did not know this, the Tennessee Vols won the national championship this year. And what's interesting is that 7 of the last 10 national champions have come through the Hoover Met because they were SEC ball clubs. So proud to have that distinction, and I think we built quite a resume down at the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, and it truly is the road to Omaha. And interestingly, Hoover's a road to a lot of different things. The other is, Allie Mims. She was crowned Miss Hoover Teen and became Miss Alabama Teen back in March. And then this weekend, the big show, as I guess you would call it, Addie Stockard was, who is Miss Hoover, was crowned Miss Alabama. So the road to the crown runs through Hoover, Alabama as well. We're proud of them. A great deal of thanks goes to our fire department, police department, public works, and our event staff for just a really, really great fireworks show last night. People were so proud of it. We got just a lot of positive reaction from our citizens and from citizens from all over the metropolitan area. So we're proud to be a part of that. And then, it's always, this is not something that happened in the last day or two, but it happened in the last 2 weeks. Hoover, Alabama, again, best place to live in Alabama is the top 100. Not only the best place to live in Alabama, but in the entire United States by livability.com. Just says a lot about our community, and I'm proud of what goes on here, and I think we all are. So with that, we are also proud of our small businesses, and I would love for Mr. Rowan Poore to come up. Rowan, and if you would invite the members of the chamber that are here to come up and stand before us, and we want to celebrate and recognize our Hoover businesses, and this is Hoover Small Business Week. And then at the end, there should be an opportunity for some new introductions as well. Rowan. So, Mr. City Attorney, if you would, please read the proclamation, sir.
This proclamation is for Hoover's Small Business Week, which is June 30th through July 6th, 2024. Whereas the government of Hoover, Alabama celebrates and supports our local small businesses and the contributions they make to boost our economy, create jobs, and preserve our community. And whereas America's strongest economic growth in almost 40 years has been driven by the resilience of our businesses that despite a worldwide pandemic continue to pioneer innovative solutions to our country's greatest challenges and create opportunities for families and workers. Whereas from the storefront shops that anchor our city's streets to the high-tech startups that keep America on the cutting edge to the small manufacturers driving our competitiveness on the global stage, small businesses are the backbone of our economy and the cornerstone of our nation's promise. Whereas nationwide, there are 31 million small business owners and entrepreneurs who work daily to grow small businesses, create 21st century jobs, drive innovation, and increase global competitiveness. And whereas advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have also endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday, and whereas chambers of commerce across the country have also endorsed the entire month of December, this is July, as Small Business Season, now therefore, we, Mayor Frank V. Mercado and Council President John B. Lyda of Hoover, on behalf of the Hoover City Council, do hereby declare the week of June 30 through July 6, 2024 as Hoover's Small Business Week, and urge the residents of our community and neighboring communities to support small businesses and merchants this week and throughout the year.
Council President Lyda, Councilman, Councilwoman, Mayor, it is really true honor to accept this Small Business Week proclamation on behalf of the Chamber and all the small businesses here in the city of Hoover. Small businesses are the heartbeat of a community, and this proclamation is a recognition of their hard work, resilience, and commitment to excellence. Thank you for this recognition. On a side note, the city and the Chamber have a very good past, but I believe we even have a better future. The Chamber appreciates its partnership with the city, and the Chamber looks forward to several more years of strong relations with the city. Thank you again to the city for this recognition, and thank you to all small businesses for their remarkable contributions. Together, we are building a brighter future and a stronger community. And at this time, it is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce our latest CEO, Ms. Nan Baldwin. Nan, if you'd like to just come up and say a few words, please.
Well, good evening, Hoover. I am just so excited to be a part of the Hoover family, to be a part of the Hoover community. I have been doing some sort of economic development and chamber work ever since 2003, when I started at an organization called the Metropolitan Development Board. And from there, I got my teeth cut at the chamber in Birmingham. Today, I officially take the role on July 15th, but today I have an opportunity to be with the team as we did a ribbon cutting to show the growth of Hoover, to show the community, and I am just so excited to be a part of that and to help elevate Hoover and to elevate the chamber. Like I said, we have a great team. You'll see more of the team, you'll see more of us as we, like I said, elevate Hoover, but just make sure that the Hoover community understands that the businesses that make up Hoover also make up the community spirit, and we'll make sure that we'll create pipelines where the school system, the communities, the businesses, the residents all feel a part of the community through the chamber work, We'll make sure that our elected officials, both at the local level, the state level, and the federal level, know where Hoover is. We'll make sure that Hoover is on the map as we work with you all in concert and be in lockstep with everything that the city is doing. So thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank the search team and the search committee that hired me for this. I'm ready, I'm able, and I'm your person. Whenever you need something with the Hoover Chamber, you can find me at the Galleria in the Hoover office, the Hoover Area Chamber office, working for you. And this team and I are committed to that. Thank you.
I'd like to recognize two special guests in the audience. We have two former colleagues from this body, Councilor Joe Reeves, Council President Gene Smith. Pleasure to have you gentlemen. Welcome. Ms. Baldwin will come back up for a photo. Ms. Baldwin as was indicated, came from the Birmingham Business Alliance, where I know Councilor Driver, myself, and the mayor have all had a working relationship with her, so she is no stranger to the city of Hoover, and we're honored to have her. Happy to have her.
Congratulations.
I call on Mr. Grimes for an update on Riverwalk. Mr. Grimes.
Congratulations, Dan. Welcome. Thank you, Council President Lyda. We were asked to provide an update on the Riverwalk project at the last council meeting. And we just want to give you a little recap, and we've got that on the slide as well, since there's a lot of numbers. So let's start with the first slide, Wendy. So the Riverwalk project is moving along. Things are continuing to evolve, and obviously, you know, we as the city are committed to our obligations of what we have created, not only with the Riverwalk project, but some specifics related to the lease. So with that, we have basically just a reminder for anyone that may not know. So some of the key incentives that were part of the Riverwalk project are in the first section, where we actually are going to be sharing in the future of sales and lodgings tax. That rebates for 20 years, and that's for 85%. The city will get 15%. With that, there's some close to 500 houses, multi-use development with a hotel, some mixed-use retail in that as well. And so you have those taxes to be shared once the construction is completed. You have the 50% of non-education property tax. So that is a 50-50 split, and that goes for all of the campus. And then the 16 million is the max. The 16 million was the 3 million that was paid in this first year, and that we brought you a budget amendment in that one. So I want to start with, before I go any further, every expense that we face with the Riverwalk project is a budget amendment, because the Riverwalk was passed after the budget was approved last September. So you approved the budget in September, and then the Riverwalk was approved in November. So there was no money put into the budget for the specifics of the project. So I just want to clarify, that's why you have the budget amendments that come forth. So you've already had a $2 million budget amendment, which we had $1 million in the bank from a redevelopment fund that went with that to make up the $3 million payment that was held, I think it was back in January. So then we have the base lease costs. Now, Mr. Posey, I think, specifically negotiated at the last minute on that. So this first year, we had no lease payments because we have a 10-year lease for the 4th floor of the South Tower, and that 10-year lease begins in year 2. So we'll have payments in year 2 through 10, and that's where we'll actually have for the 31,938 square foot that makes up the floor. Now remember, that includes, that's total square footage, it includes mechanical rooms and some other things, but you're still paying for the floor and the square footage on that. So, and I'm gonna come back to the part about National Computer Forensics Institute. But that lease payment for years 2 through 10 will be $706,761.05, which is based on the square foot price that we had. And then the final, which was the most recent budget amendment, is the bottom line, where you have the total of $216,277. And that was for the 8 remaining months of this fiscal year to get us through this fiscal year 24. And those are the operating costs. So in the lease agreement, you had base rent, which was 0 for year 1, and then you had following that the operational costs. And that was estimated early on when the agreement was signed at $10 a square foot. When the landlord came back with all of the costs associated with the triple net lease, you had basically the $10.16 a square foot, more or less, which was calculated out, and that's where you have that amount. Since it was not budgeted, we had a budget amendment, I think it was a week or 2 ago for that. So there are those 3 areas of payments that go to the actual project itself. Now, if you'll go to the next slide, I want to talk about it. So what led to a lot of this with the 4th floor lease specifically was tied to the National Computer Forensic Institute expansion. And so we've had the NCFI, I believe, since somewhere close to 2007 in our Public Safety Center. They've continued to grow and expand and take up space as they are bringing in somewhere close to 5,000 students to train each year. They're moving into a major expansion which will double from some 40,000 square foot to 80,000 square foot needed. And the majority of that can be accommodated at the Public Safety Center. So that is underway as we continue to plan, working toward the finalization of the plans. We're now down to every 2 weeks having meetings with their staff of the NCFI, with the architects, and with our staff. And so we're finalizing what they need and how it works in the building. That being said, back a couple of years ago, this is where you were aware of the expansion opportunities, but we needed to begin to shift people within the Public Safety Center. And that's part of what led to when the Riverwalk project came along in November of 2023 to get passed, you had the opportunity to rent the 4th floor. And that was part of the discussion that was happening then, was to move some form of either city employees or current tenants or some form of into that space, that 31,000 plus or minus square foot, into the Riverwalk for a 10-year period. So you have a 10-year lease, as I mentioned, but part of that is to free up the space in the Public Safety Center for their expansion. So there's definitely going to be an economic impact by going from 5,000 students a year to 10,000 who come to Hoover, spend the extended weeks in that training, and then obviously go back to their hometowns and or countries, depending on where they're from. So that's part of a reminder as to where the lease came from. Now, the Riverwalk itself, one of the confusing things is always the once a year payments, which is called prepaid rent, which I always expand and say that's on the full 91 acres of the campus. That's your cash incentive, but that was a legalese way of having that title prepaid rent, but it's been confusing from the start, because that's basically where that is a sliding scale for a 10-year period, with the worst case being $16 million if they never reach 93% occupancy. So that was a decided factor in the agreement for the Riverwalk, was for the South Tower to reach 93% occupancy, at which time the prepaid rent payments would go away. But the prepaid rent is your cash incentive, okay, for the whole project. So you still have your 10-year lease for your 4th floor rent that we'll be paying at that $700,000 plus or minus. So with that, I just want to remind you, so there have also been some questions related to, the Healthcare Authority was formed several years ago, as you see there, in 2021, and the purpose was to expand the healthcare access for the citizens. I don't know the history specifically as to, was it targeted at an ambulatory surgical center or was it targeted at other medical? I think it was a combination of many things, because I know in the history you can see the various articles related to medical impacts and seeking that, even to the point of a full hospital at one time. So I think with the Healthcare Authority, the key question was, why is the Healthcare Authority pursuing that? Well, that's the neutral party. You appointed the members of the Healthcare Authority for the city of Hoover. You are putting your trust in them. I think Ms. Driver's been the liaison since you've been on. I'm not sure before you if Mr. Shaw was, or who that may have been before you.
Yeah, I don't know if there was one before me, but I've been just for the past several months.
Right in there. And then myself, I've been acting in conjunction of trying to attend all the meetings and be a part of what they're working toward with the certificate of need. So to go for the CON, we did reach the point where we were pursuing that and there was opposition. And due to that opposition, we just closed out those hearings. Those were held at the River Chase, Riverwalk South Tower. And so the judge will have his opportunity to rule on that. But I will say that the next key date is September 18th, which is where the actual hearing ends up in Montgomery, because due to the delays, we couldn't apply for August. Well, I don't think there's a meeting in August because they typically don't meet in summer. So September 18th will be the meeting date for the actual hearing before the ship to board, so we can pursue the CON and whatever the outcome of the opposition. So with all of that, these are some of the budget amendments, because you did have one other budget amendment that was related to legal costs for the CON and having to deal with the opposition. And for anyone that attended the hearings, you know, it was a tremendous amount of time put in by the legal teams of both parties. And so that is where we are today. I think that the big question of who and why do we not know who's going into the lease yet on the 4th floor is dependent on the CON. And there's a lot of reasons why. One, we need to see how the healthcare authorities RFP will go out, and they will then seek the operators, and that could be an operator or operators. And so with that, deciding what their needs are and how they're going to fill the rest of the building, because it is a 6th floor building. And so the 4th floor is a key floor. But we're working with Corporate Realty, which is also Healthcare Resources, if anybody sees both names. So both entities are part of the developers' companies that are obviously leasing that. But I think that's part of where for us, we're still trying to work through the NCFI square footage, the final plans of what's needed in the Public Safety Center, various activities related to, is it city staff that moves there? Is it city tenants that are currently in the Public Safety Center that move there, that we have current leases with? Or how do we use the 3021 book? And all that is in the space planning that goes back to when you purchase that, based on when you purchased the 3021, you didn't even have the Riverwalk at the point on the table. So in hindsight, I just bring all of that back around as to where we are and some of the budget amendments related to that project. I think there's one more slide, just we'll show you as a reminder for anybody that's not familiar with it. And so maybe Nan, this will kind of help you. But there is a lot of additional things. We have created the healthcare, health and wellness district. That is basically the section between I-65 and Highway 31 south of the Cava River. I think that's gonna be a great marketing tool for the number of businesses that are already there, specific to the healthcare industry. And I think when it comes to future trails along the Cahaba and interaction, you know, that's definitely tied to the Riverwalk's plans with how it cuts through and really puts you at a unique spot near the Valleydale Road that we were talking about earlier with the widening and the utility relocation that will continue for most of our careers. So as we work through that, this is all part of the long-range planning that ultimately may connect Oak Mountain State Park and the far western end of the Cahaba River as we get toward Helena. So if you tie it all together with our trails and open spaces plan, that's all part of that. All right, any questions? Tried to answer as many questions that I've heard and or seen, so on the topic.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Grimes. We'll now move to our agenda and begin with the consent agenda. As most everyone in here knows, the consent agenda is presented as items that will be read as one. We'll take one motion and vote on each of these items with one vote. I will ask any member of the body like items 1 through 9 removed and moved to the regular agenda, we'll have to do so. Hearing none here, any member of the public here that would like to speak on behalf of items 1 through 9, if so, we'll be glad to remove it. Seeing none, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 1 is the payment of bills which are submitted to the council for approval. Item 2 is the approval of minutes. The minutes from the April 5th, 2024 special meeting, April 11th, 2024 work session, and April 15th, 2024 meeting were submitted to the council for approval. Item 3, resolution 814524 approves a 020 restaurant retail liquor alcohol license for DeHooven LLC, doing business as Desi Tadka, located at 1843 Montgomery Highway, Suite 105, Hoover, Alabama. Resolution 814624 approves a 040 retail beer on or off premises alcohol license and 060 retail table wine on or off premises alcohol license. for Yasushi Inc., doing business as Sushi Village, located at 601 Doug Baker Boulevard, Suites 101 and 102, Hoover, Alabama. Resolution 814724 authorizes Mayor Mercado to execute an additional work change order for an increase of $77,997.67 and a deductive work change order of $64,242.73 for a new contract sum in the amount of $2,933,867.30 with Carcel and G Construction LLC for the Lake Forest Circle Embankment Rehabilitation. Resolution 814524 authorizes the mayor to accept a bid for bid number 24-009 for the purchase of two 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe police pursuit vehicles, two-wheel drive, for the city of Hoover, Alabama, from Donahue Chevrolet in an amount not to exceed $99,095. Resolution 814924 authorizes Mayor Mercado to execute a sponsorship and event agreement with Hoover Mall Limited LLC for the 9/11 stair climb at River Chase Galleria. Resolution 815024 authorizes Mayor Mercado to execute a memorandum of understanding with Shelby County, Alabama, and any and all documents necessary to provide for a rescue truck. Resolution 816224 authorizes the 911 director to execute an agreement with the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, Inc.
Motion to approve consent agenda as read.
Second.
Have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll now move to our regular agenda. Items 10 through 13. It's my understanding, Councilor Driver, you'll be abstaining from discussion and vote on those.
That's right, Mr. President.
We'll begin item number 10, resolution number 8151-24. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Mercado to execute a standard agreement with Alabama Power Company Distribution to relocate facilities on the Valleydale Road right-of-way between US 31 and River Chase Parkway East.
Motion to approve resolution number 8151-24.
Second.
Have a motion and approval, motion and second for approval. Any questions or comments from the body? Any comments from the public tonight? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number 11, resolution number 8152-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Mercado to execute an agreement with Alabama Power Company Distribution to relocate facilities on the Valleydale Road right-of-way between Caldwell Mill Road and Inverness Center Drive.
Motion to approve resolution number 8152-24.
Second.
Motion and approval for, motion and second for approval. Any comments from the body? Comments from the public tonight? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number 12, resolution number 8153-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Mercado to execute an agreement with Alabama Power Company Transmission to relocate their facilities on Valleydale Road right-of-way between Caldwell Mill Road and Inverness Center Drive.
Motion to approve resolution number 8153-24.
Second.
Motion and second for approval. Any comments from the body? Any comments tonight from the public? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number 13, resolution number 8154-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with Alabama Power Company for an easement for distribution facilities on Medford Drive.
Motion to approve resolution number 8154-24.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval. Any comments from the body tonight? Any comments from the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number 14, resolution number 8155-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution establishes a temporary moratorium on certain new businesses within the city of Hoover for a 6-month period as set forth in the resolution.
Motion to approve resolution number 8155-24.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. Any comments or questions from the body tonight? Comments from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Burtonzetti, 2656 Creekview Drive. Can you explain what certain new businesses are?
Mr. Martin, if you would come up. We had a work session in the previous hour where you reviewed this. I know the public, many of you perhaps didn't have the opportunity to hear that, so Mr. Martin would be glad to give us an update.
Yes, Mr. President, the certain businesses specified within the moratorium relate to businesses primarily serving in the function of retail sales and CBD and vape products. City staff reviewed our existing businesses within the city limits of Hoover, as well as those outside of the city of Hoover that engaged in the sales of CBD and vape product items. And we found the following three main points to be true. The number of stores and their saturation in the market seem to have deleterious impacts on commercial districts and neighborhoods. Two, we have found that the use of CBD sales, which are currently not regulated as far as location is concerned within commercial districts, served as a vehicle for selling other products that have more stringent requirements, bypassing processes in place for approval of said sales. And thirdly, the unregulated nature of CBD products and issues that produces, namely products that are packaged as legal but are actually illegal. Products are in form that is legal but can be manipulated into a form that is illegal. Sales of products that are misleading in nature, sales of products to minors, and sales of products that support and enable illegal activity. For these reasons, staff is asking for a 6-month moratorium in order for us to craft regulation and guardrails for those businesses.
Very good. Now, did that answer your question? Very good. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll now begin with item number 15. These are public hearings for ordinance change, beginning with item number 15, ordinance 24-2644. Mr. Corley.
This ordinance approves the annexation of property located at 5410 Highway 280 and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute any documents necessary for such annexation.
Motion to approve ordinance number 24-2644.
Second. That's a motion to adopt, correct?
Motion to adopt.
Very good. We have a motion to adopt and a second. Any comments or questions from the body? We'll open the public hearing to the public. Any comments tonight from the public on the annexation before us? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Swiney? Counselor Driver?
Aye.
Counselor Murphy? Counselor Middlebrooks?
Aye.
Counselor McClinton?
Aye.
Counselor Lyda?
Aye. 5 ayes and 0 nays. The motion carries and the ordinance is adopted. Item number 16 is a resolution number 8156-24. In my understanding, we will withdraw this even without reading. Is there a motion to withdraw?
Motion to withdraw.
Second. This has been satisfied to the, cut to the satisfaction of inspection, so
Yes, sir.
you concur with the withdrawal, Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir, I do.
We have a motion and a second for withdrawal. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number 17, resolution number 8157-24. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the abatement of the weed nuisance at 2152 Larchmont Circle, Hoover, Alabama.
Motion to approve resolution number 8157-24.
Second. Have a motion and a second for approval. Any comments or questions from the body? Any comments from the public tonight regarding Larchmont? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll now have a rather lengthy list of first readings. No action will be taken on any of these items, but they will be read. We did review them with our city planner in the last hour during work session, but we will read these tonight for a second reading to be held at our next meeting and potential vote. Beginning with item number 18, resolution number 8158-24. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes abatement of the weed nuisance at 2054 Wood Meadow Circle, Hoover, Alabama. A public hearing is set for July 15, 2024. If you want me to continue with first reading.
You can roll on. Yes, sir.
Resolution 815924 authorizes abatement of a weed nuisance at 2161 Kelly Lane, Hoover, Alabama. Public hearing set for July 15, 2024. Resolution 816024 authorizes abatement of a weed nuisance at 2337 Tyler Road. Public hearing set for July 15, 2024. Resolution 816124 authorizes abatement of a weed nuisance at 3575 Lorna Ridge Drive, Hoover, Alabama. Public hearing set for July 15th, 2024. And that's the Weedman Lanes. Ordinance number 24-2646 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 2849 Berkeley Drive, further described on Exhibit A to the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Shelby County to R1 single family district. Public hearing is scheduled for July 15th, 2024. Ordinance 24-2647 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 995 Bridgewater Park Drive, described on Exhibit A to the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Shelby County to R1 single family district. Public hearing scheduled for July 15th, 2024. Ordinance number 24-2648 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone the property located at 1523 Highland Gate Point, further described on Exhibit A to the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Jefferson County to R1 single family district. Public hearing set for July 15th, 2024. Ordinance number 24-2649 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 2440 Southwood Trace, further described on Exhibit A attached to the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Jefferson County to R1 single family district. Public hearing July 15th, 2024. Ordinance number 242650 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 2444 Southwood Trace, further described on the exhibit of the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Jefferson County to R1 single family district. Public hearing scheduled for July 15th, 2024. Ordinance number 24-2651 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 2448 Southwood Trace, further described on Exhibit A to the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Jefferson County to R1 single family district. Public hearing scheduled for July 15th, 2024. And ordinance number 24-2652 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 2821 Sterling Way, described on Exhibit A to the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Jefferson County to R1 single family district. A public hearing is scheduled for July 15th, 2024. And finally, ordinance number 24-2653 amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 249 South Burbank Drive and 250 South Burbank Drive, further described on Exhibit A to the ordinance, from not zoned unincorporated Jefferson County to R1 single family district. Public hearing scheduled for July 15th, 2024.
Excellent job, Mr. Corley. Thank you. We will gather again at our next meeting to consider each of those items. As for council comments, I'll begin with adding some color commentary to what the mayor said in recognizing Abby Stockard in her crowning as Miss Alabama. The record books are still being checked, but it is believed to be the first ever Miss Alabama and Miss Alabama team to come from the exact same preliminary. So if that checks out to be accurate, that's a really big deal for the city of Hoover to have both of our representatives crowned in their respective competitions. Also, maybe as another personal privilege, last Miss Hoover to be crowned Miss Alabama was from my neck of the woods on Sand Mountain. Her name was Tammy Little. And in 1984, I was a 10-year young buck, and let me tell you something, we all thought Tammy Little was the stuff. In fact, there's a street named after her. I drove down it Sunday night, Tammy Little Drive. And it made me proud to know that the next Miss Hoover is now wearing the crown for Miss Alabama. Any other comments tonight from the council? Any comments tonight from the audience? Thank you all for your attendance. We're adjourned.